Good morning. Thank you for coming in to see another video from Miss Heather. I am Miss Heather and I own Heather's Feathers LLC here in Conway, well, in Myrtle Beach. And I make these videos for young adults and anyone who wants to watch them, but of course these are for young adults in my community who need help or information or support getting out of gang life and understanding why you're in it and what it takes to get out of it. I share some stories about my experience with gang life and all the years that Miss Heather spent in gangs. And so hopefully maybe something you hear on here will be super funny and lift your mood, or it's some information that you may need to know. When we help people in the community, we help them in all different sorts of ways, whether it's a phone call just because you need some advice or how to navigate a situation you've gotten yourself in, or you have a baby that needs diapers, or you need something for yourself personally. Whatever it is, you can ask Miss Heather and we'll try to make a way to make that happen for you, okay? A lot of people have some loved ones incarcerated, and during that time we send books to incarcerated young men to help them understand about emotional intelligence and how to cope with feelings, because we all have a lot of feelings, and it doesn't hurt anything to talk to somebody, right? It's a tough decision to make, to seek out therapy or to entrust a loved one. And I wouldn't advise entrusting a loved one with your innermost feelings for a couple reasons. One, they're not qualified to help you, and two, they're real close to the situation, so their reaction is probably not going to be the reaction that you're really looking for, because they come from they might get fearful for you, whereas a licensed professional counselor or doctor or whatever therapist, they're trained to handle tough things. And when you say tough things and you have a lot of tough stuff, or you have a lot of tough trauma in your spirit and on your heart, that you need to understand, you may need to talk to somebody. And I know Waccamaw Health, if you're in the Burgess area of Myrtle Beach, the South Strand area has some really good mental health places to get assistance, and they show you how for it to be free of charge or minimum, income based. So you have that. I don't want anybody to feel like they can't talk to somebody. You can always call. Oh, I'm sitting here telling y'all to call somebody, and I don't know the number. Y'all may have to tell me the number. They have a new suicide prevention line, a national number. I'll have to look at that. Anyway, so yeah, there's so we send books to incarcerated individuals. We put money on Securus and McDaniel Supply for J. Rubin and that sort of thing. But yeah, this is a place where Miss Heather talks about this stuff, and being a girl, and even though you're not jumped into that gang necessarily, but you are in relationship with someone who is, there's still rules for you too. There's things you can and can't do. There's places you can and can't go. There's things you can and can't say. And there's things that you're required to do according to that life. Does it mean in real life you have to do that stuff? No, but in real life you could die. So, these things are tricky. And if you need to know how to handle and navigate some of these situations, I will be honest with you. Miss Heather will not commit any crimes for anybody. I'm not going on that side of the bars. I'm going to stay on this side of the bars. I've been on that side of the bars. I don't like it. It's not a good look for Miss Heather. My skin You know, I got soft skin. I need, you know, I got to stay on this side. So I won't commit any crimes or do anything that's going to get either one of us in trouble. But I will advise you, and I will talk to you and tell you the real deal. And the honest truth from my perspective, okay, of what you, maybe some options you might have. And I'll help you any way I can. And if I can't help you, I'll find somebody who can help you, right? So that's kind of what we do. We employ people. I have a cleaning company, and so I employ people, and I pay a high enough wage that you can make a living and pay your bills and be independent, financially independent, if you need to be, off of food stamps and welfare. And so, you know, those are goals that I like to, that people come to me and they say, this is my goal. And I'm like, we can do that, you know? So, and if I can stop living that life, and I know, I want to say too, on top of the mental health aspect of dealing with your trauma, the addiction of the money part, I completely understand, because like when I was working in clubs, you know, I started out saying, oh, I'm just going to wait tables. The next thing you know, I'm up there on the pole. So, and I did that for a lot of years. And the money is very attractive. You know, the thought, I can remember like it was yesterday, the thought of me getting a regular job all the time. I had a regular job Monday through Friday, but Thursday through Sunday, I worked the club. And, you know, I bought my own house, I paid for my own car, and that money can be very addictive. You know, I love Mercedes. And, I mean, so what I had to do was figure out a way to switch that criminal side of me into a productive side of me. So first thing I did is I went back to get a little old degree in college. I was after my last daughter was born, and she was like 3, I think, when I went back, and I had her late. So anyway, yeah, so I had to fight. So I went back to school, and before I could even, I was making $10.50 an hour at a candy factory, and before I could even finish college, a Fortune 500 company scooped me up, and I went straight into operations management and logistics because I had a CDL. Because I drove a bus when my older kids were little, and so a school bus, and so I had that CDL, and I had, you know, operations education behind me, and I interviewed really well, and so they scooped me up, and there began my career. So almost 20 years ago. Well, it's been about 17 years now. So you know, if I could do it, and then I just slowly, you know, I had short-term goals, and I didn't just sit around and write them down, but in the back of my mind, I said, you know, this is where I want to be, this is what I want to do, this is where I want to go. And I just kept making career goals, and then, you know, financial goals or whatever. And I just kept moving up, and I just kept God close with me, and faith. Not always the best faith. I have more faith today than I did 17 years ago, but it's here, you know. And I didn't have people just beating down the door to help me. I wasn't really the nicest person to be around still. Trauma toughens you up and makes you an angry person, and it makes you an angry teenager too. So not only was I really an angry teenager, I grew up to be a really angry adult. And I took that out and projected it on a lot of people who didn't deserve it. So, you know, I had to move on from that as well. And again, therapy, I can't tell people enough, it's okay to get therapy. Today, I'm not currently with my therapist, but I have a regular therapist, and when I need to see her, I schedule sessions with her, and then, you know, I cope with my life the rest of the time with God and prayer and faith. But when I need her, and I'm 54, so, and I've been in therapy for some years, and I don't know that I'll ever, it's kind of like the medicine I take. I think it's okay for me to always have a therapist. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't entrust people to tell my secrets to. That can bite you in the butt. And I don't trust people like that. So my therapist is bound by law to keep my secrets, unless it's a danger to myself or others, which I'm not. So, and even if I was, it has to be something that she and I can't work out together before she's going to tell somebody. Like, if I'm honest with her and say, hey, I'm feeling suicidal, do you have a plan? You know, I answer those questions, and then we deal with it in therapy. Does my medicine need to be adjusted? Do I need to up my, is there something going on right now that I need to address immediately? Is something coming up that I'm anticipating that's going on that's causing it? There's a lot of things and a lot of reasons and ways that you can work things out. And so being honest with the therapist and knowing that she's got my back or he's got my back is a very freeing experience for anybody. So I would encourage you, and there is free mental health help. Again, contact me and I'll tell you where you can get that help from, okay? Research all that stuff together, and we are plugging through this life as a village over here in Horry County and Georgetown County, okay? That's what we're going to do, and that's how Miss Heather rolls. I'm going to cut this a little bit short today because I do have an appointment. So I just want y'all to know that I'm here. I'm thinking about y'all. I love y'all very, very, very much. If you are sitting here watching this video and you don't see a way out, don't believe that. Don't believe that. Because God is bigger than your problem. You just tell your problem about your God, okay? Because He loves you. And no matter what your past is, no matter what mistakes you've made, everybody deserves a second chance and a third chance. And God gives multiple chances. He never leaves you, okay? And no matter what in the past you've done, there is a way back from it, okay? The biggest person that you have to worry about forgiving you is yourself. Letting yourself off the hook is the biggest obstacle in my experience. I feel like other people had already forgiven me. God, I know, had forgiven me and moved on. I was the one stuck on what I had done in my shame. And so I broke up with fear and shame a long time ago, and I don't want to live that way and make decisions that way, because I make bad decisions when I make them out of fear and shame, impulsively. So anyway, y'all are valuable. You're important. You have a valuable place in this world, in this society, in this community. And so I want you to find that value in yourself. And if you need me to say that to you, hey, hit me up and I'll say that to your face. Because Miss Heather loves y'all and there's hope out there. I don't want you to feel like you're alone, okay? I'll see y'all next time.